Hey, it's Maximo and welcome to Maximo's Travels. I'm excited to be flying to Taipei in Taiwan for the first time. We arrive at 4 a.m. to discover almost everything in the airport closed, including the train station to Taipei City. We work out how to get tickets and wait for the station to open. We ride the MRT express train from the airport to the main station and drop off our bags at the hotel before 7 a.m. We then head to the 228 Peace Memorial Park and get mesmerised by elderly people performing Tai Chi in the morning. We see more motorbikes than you could possibly poke a stick at, and then walk over to the sublime Liberty Square with its vast gardens, huge buildings, and memorial to Chiang Kai-shek. After we soak in the culture, we head back to our hotel to check in and have an afternoon nap. We'll have lunch at a Japanese restaurant and dinner at an Italian restaurant. Join me on my first day exploring Taipei in Taiwan. Neither Joe nor I had ever been to Taiwan before, and as our China Airlines flight was heading in to Taiwan Airport, we were really looking forward to it. We didn't know quite what to expect. We thought it'd be sort of a cross between Hong Kong and Japan, and I don't think we were disappointed. Neither of us got much sleep on the plane. Our day started very early, around about 2 a.m. Taiwanese time, with breakfast being served on the plane. We were due to land at Taiwan's Taoyuan International Airport just after 5 a.m, but we landed early, quite early, 4:15 to be precise. Now normally you'd think, great, we've landed somewhere early, but at 4:15 a.m, the only thing that was open was a McDonald's. The airport wasn't very busy and we were whisked through customs and immigration, and I think we got our bags in almost record time. So we did the only thing that we could do and had a coffee at the McDonald's while we waited for the train station to open just before 6 a.m. If you're interested in finding out what I thought of the China Airlines flight to Taipei, you can check my flight review playlist. Hey, it's Maximo. I've arrived in Taipei. It is 5 in the morning. My plane has arrived more than an hour before scheduled time. Everything's closed at this airport, including the Starbucks, so there's nowhere to get a coffee or somewhere to eat. And the MRT doesn't open until 6 a.m, so we've got an hour to kill to just wander around before we can get a train into the city. The good news was that it was easy to find the airport train station, the airport MRT, on the lower level of the airport concourse. The bad news was it didn't open for another hour. The other bad news was that there were automatic vending machines, but unfortunately they only took small denomination notes, which we didn't have, and they didn't take credit cards. But it was okay, we ended up buying tokens from the station ticket office when it opened. There was a bit of a queue at the McDonald's, seeing it was the only thing opened. So we got our coffees, had a sit down for a little bit before the station was finally opened. So there is a ticket booth where you can get a single pass or a 3-day pass. We've opted for a single pass token. We can go through now. We caught the express train to the main station. You can tell it's the express train because it's got express in blue and white writing across the carriages. We caught the first train to run for the day, the 6:05, that took 38 minutes to go from Terminal 2 at Taiwan Airport to the main station in Taipei. The standard or commuter train takes around 52 minutes, so there is a little bit of a time saving on the express train. The seats on this train are quite comfortable and there's plenty of room to store your suitcases and baggage.
The doors are closing.
We didn't have to wait long and we were off for the roughly 50-kilometre journey from the airport to Taipei's central main station. And we took off around about dawn. It was great to see the transition from night to day, as it was to see the transition from an urban area to a bustling city of over 7 million people. The closer that we got to the centre of Taipei, the higher the buildings and apartment blocks became. We got off at the main station and tried to navigate our way to our hotel. What was supposed to take 15 minutes actually took us half an hour because we were both tired and slightly disorientated. But Joe got us back on the right path and we eventually made it to our hotel, the Artinn. I will do a separate review of this hotel in a later video. The hotel was very well located, being right near the National Museum, the Peace Park, and Liberty Square with its famous Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall. Reception is manned 24 hours at the hotel, but unfortunately we couldn't check in until 3 p.m. We got there at 7 a.m. So we checked our bags at reception. We headed out for our first day in Taipei. We only had 8 hours to kill. Our hotel is located very close to the National Taiwanese Museum, a place we visited on our last day in Taiwan. We continued walking past the museum, the 228 Peace Memorial Park, one of the most visited and photographed areas in Taipei. This park's got a very interesting history. It was originally created in 1900 by the Japanese during the Japanese colonial rule. On the 28th of February 1947, a series of violent protests broke out across Taiwan. The nationalist government imposed a severe crackdown on the protesters, leading to many deaths and lots of violence. In 1996, this park was rededicated as the 228 Peace Memorial Park. It features a couple of stunning pagodas in the middle of the park as well. And on our way to the memorial monument, we stumbled across a number of elderly Taiwanese people doing their morning Tai Chi exercises. It was quite mesmerising to watch, really. In fact, we sat on a park bench and watched them do their thing for a good 10 or 15 minutes. After that, we made our way to the 228 Memorial Monument. This has got an interesting history in and of itself. It was designed by a famous Taiwanese architect who was convicted and imprisoned for the attempted murder of a Taiwanese politician who also happened to be Chiang Kai-shek's only son. He submitted the design for this monument whilst in prison. The monument is inscribed with the Declaration for Peace and Unity. The architecture truly is stunning. The peace and tranquility of the park was in stark contrast to the chaos and traffic and motorbikes of the streets just outside it. In the middle of a huge roundabout sits the East Gate. The East Gate is one of 5 gates that protected the ancient city of Taipei. This gate was built in 1884 and renovated in 1900. And just a short stroll away from the East Gate is Liberty Square. This is a huge public plaza. It covers over 240,000 square metres. It has a most delightful entrance at the main gate. The red and blue flags contrast with the white stone of the gate, and the blue tiles of the high roof make an absolutely stunning entrance to this huge square. The square was completed in the 1970s and is the main meeting point for the citizens of Taipei. The square has an east-west orientation, with the main gate being located on the northeast side. As soon as you walk through the main gate, you'll see 2 huge identical buildings with majestic terracotta roofs. The building to the north or left-hand side is the National Concert Hall, and the building to the south or right-hand side is the National Theatre. There's also stunning formal and informal gardens between these buildings, and the highlight of the square, which is the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall, dedicated to the memory of Taiwan's first president. So we're sitting on a park bench outside the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial, and we've run out of puff. It's about 30 degrees, quite high humidity. We're both sweaty messes, and we're really feeling the effects of the flight last night. We got in at 4 a.m. and we've only got 6 hours and 20 minutes until we can check in to our hotel. This is supposed to be fun.
And it's 8:45 in the morning. So
8:45 in the morning. We have.
The flight was long. I thought there was plenty of space, but it wasn't that comfortable.
No, it wasn't. It was quite. The seats were quite hard, weren't they? Hard, yeah. Space, but a bit hard. I didn't sleep much at all. Did you? No. Anyway,
we'll survive.
Yeah, we're just mustering up the energy to go up all those steps to the memorial.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully we'll make it. We had a bit of a rest and then decided to catch the first changing of the guard at the memorial. This happens on the hour, the first at 9 a.m. The changing of the guard used to be performed in the hall, but since 2019 it's been moved to Democracy Boulevard. The changing of the guards was utterly mesmerising. If you want to attend, it starts at 9 a.m. and it happens on the hour every hour until 5 p.m. After it finished, we climbed the 89 stairs up to the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall, 1 step for each year of Chiang Kai-shek's life. It was quite an effort getting up all those stairs in the heat and humidity. And unfortunately for us, we didn't realise it, but the main entrance to the hall was closed because maintenance was being carried out. I didn't really mind because we did capture some fantastic views and video from the top. So we walked around the perimeter of the main hall and found our way to the north side where the main entrance to the museum was. It's free entry to the museum and it's nicely air conditioned, so you're able to escape the oppressing heat and humidity that was outside. There's also a couple of cafes and you can get food and drinks. Joe and I got some bubble teas, our first in Taiwan. We spent about an hour wandering through the museum. It's dedicated to democracy in Taiwan as well as the memory of Chiang Kai-shek. There's literally thousands of exhibits here. We rode an elevator up to the Great Hall and checked out the huge statue of the man himself. Chiang Kai-shek was the founder of Taiwan and a controversial figure. Over time, this memorial has moved away from a celebration of the man and his life and the autocratic rule of the nationalist government, more to a spirit of celebrating democracy in what is now modern democratic Taiwan. If you want to come here, you'll need to allow at least 2 to 3 hours to explore Liberty Square as well as the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial. And make sure you get your timing right to see the changing on the guard that happens on the hour, every hour. Liberty Square and the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial was a really good introduction to Taiwan and its rich cultural history. We left and headed back towards our hotel. We walked back through 228 Peace Memorial Park and saw other elements of the park and some sculptures in it that we hadn't seen before.
Eventually,
it was about midday and Joe and I were feeling hot, tired and hungry, and it was still 3 hours away before we could check in, so we decided to have something to eat. We spotted a Sushiro restaurant on our trek from the train station to our hotel much earlier that morning, and we decided to go here and have some lunch and a refreshing ale. Sushiro is a conveyor belt Japanese restaurant that we fell in love with when we visited Japan the year before. The experience and vibe at this restaurant was very much in keeping with the Sushiros that we'd visited in Japan. But I do think the quality of the sushi wasn't quite as good as some of the Sushiros that we had experienced in Japan. I'll do a review of this restaurant in an upcoming special food video from Taiwan. So look out for that video in the coming weeks. We had a leisurely lunch and a couple of drinks each, and soon it was time to head over to our hotel. We were staying at the Artinn Hotel in the Zhongzheng district of Taipei. I'll do a review of this hotel in the coming weeks as well. We checked into the hotel, freshened up, and each got a couple of hours well-earned rest, well, sleep actually, in the afternoon. It did take us a couple of hours to get going again, and when we did, we went to a very close-by restaurant, which happened to be Italian of all things. The restaurant was called Yentil Pasta. I had a risotto and Joe had some gnocchi with a couple of drinks each. The bill came to about 42 Australian dollars or 920 Taiwanese dollars. As we would come to expect in Taiwan, food was exceptionally good value. I will do a separate review of this restaurant in my coming special Taiwanese food video. It had started to rain quite heavily by this stage, and tired but full, we headed back to the hotel to hopefully what was going to be a good night's sleep. We got a great night's sleep and were eager to explore the rest of Taipei in the following days. I do hope you liked this video. If so, please hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that notify bell so you'll never miss another upcoming video. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying me a coffee or smashing that super thanks button. Until my next video where we'll start to explore Taipei, you take care and bye now.